I'm a sort of fighter. I'm the sort of person that goes into the ring fearless. I don't fear anything. I don't fear anybody at all.
He's got a perfect record, he's unbeaten.
In one fight, overnight, you can become a star. I'm a sort of fighter. I'm the sort of person that goes into the ring fearless. I don't fear anything. I don't fear anybody at all. If what happens, happens. So, you know, whatever happens, all I know is that the training that I do and the lifestyle that I live gives me the best chance for anything bad not to happen. So when I was a kid, I was always hyperactive. They couldn't do anything with me at school. I was in primary school, running about, causing trouble. I had too much energy. So the teacher said to my mum and dad, they said, "You got to do something with him. You got to burn some energy off."
Basically, I started training lads here, and my wife said to me when Jordan was about 3 or 4, she said, "Look, can you bring him up to the boxing club?" And I said, "No, because he's only a kid, and he's going to be messing about, you know, when I've got all these men up there training." So she persuaded me in the end because he wasn't doing very well at school. He was very hyperactive, so he's come down to the boxing club, and he trained quite well. He done very well with the lads. He fitted in great.
I've always wanted to be a boxer. I've always loved boxing. I've always looked at people at the top, and idolised them, and wanted to get there. Luckily, from the age of 11 to the age of 18, my whole amateur career, in 7 years, I was in 7 national finals, top 2 in England every year. Had the honour of boxing for my country. And it went from there, really.
The main thing was, I remember him saying to me, he said, I want to turn professional, Dad. I said, well, you win the CYPs, and we've never had a CYP champion from this club, never. And I thought, I've got a safe bet here. And he went and won it. And he said, what about now? Can I turn pro? And I'm like, I'll tell you what, if you win the ABAs, which we've never had an ABA champion, you know, then I'll say, yeah, okay, we'll see how we go. He went and won the ABAs, so I didn't really have a choice, really.
I beat a fella from Sheffield in the final. I was meant to be going to the World Championships for England. The same day that they called me to go to the World Championships, Dominic Ingle, my professional coach, rang me and said, "Oh, do you want to fight your professional debut on the undercard of Kell Brook versus Carson Jones at the Sheffield Motorpoint Arena in front of 10,000 people live on Sky Sports?" I thought to myself, do you want to get hit for a gold medal, or do you want to get hit for money? And me being 17, you know, making my pro debut 7 days after my 18th birthday was a dream come true.
At the end of the day, you can't stop a young man from, or a young woman from running with their dream, you know, because you've got a long time to live, God willing.
If it wasn't for my dad, then I wouldn't be boxing. I'd be like 15, 16 stone. Probably wouldn't even have made it to uni because I wouldn't have had the discipline to do well at school. So yeah, I owe my mum and my dad everything.
I've been here since 1986. I had about 93 amateur bouts here. Won a few, lost a few. Then I went to turn professional with Brendan Ingle, went all the way to Sheffield and go and see him. And he basically said I was too old. So I thought, well, I don't want to stop anybody else's dream. So I came in, I ran the club myself, and I thought, well, if people can come through, you know, and I can help them, it'd be great. He had 54 amateur fights, and he only lost 8, and the 8 he lost to were all national champions. Well, it's difficult for any father with a son or a daughter in sport or with anything. It's very difficult because I trained him for 15, 16 years, you know, and to give him over like that, it is a difficult thing. But the thing is, it's not about yourself, it's about getting the best out of the kid and giving him the best opportunity. And in all fairness, I haven't got enough knowledge to take him that far, and where Dominic has. All praise to Dominic, he's the great man, so he can do it.
It's my job to oversee the training of people like Jordan Gill, Lee Wood, Kid Galahad, Kilbrook.
Dominic, he's brilliant. I love Dominic. You have to get on the good side of him. He's got a very good sense of humour. He works always around me. He's great because I train at university with my fitness stuff. For the last few months, he's been great working with them. He's getting me everything I need, and we've got a really good relationship. When I'm fighting, I know that if I follow the instructions, which I always do, I'm always going to come out victorious, and that's good. It's good to have that trust in your coach. He's got great experience in the game. You know, he's been in the corner with you know, numerous world champions. You can't even count how many world champions he's been in the ring with, like coaching them. You know, it's great to have experience behind you like that and having the confidence to know that no matter what, your team has been in that situation before and we can do it again.
I was born into it. So my father Brendan had been in it, you know, boxed from being a youngster in Ireland, came over here in his 20s, started a gym in about 63, 64, and from that point onwards, this gym's always been a part of our life. We've always been in here at some stage, you know, generally every day. He'd go to work all day long. If we wanted to see him, we had to come in here because he'd finish work, come straight in here, be in here for a couple of hours, then come home, have his tea and go to bed. So if we didn't come in here, we never saw him. The key attribute is to be able to listen to people who are telling you what to do. You know, you can be the best fighter in the world, but if you're going out with the wrong game plan, or you're not living your life right, you know, somebody's got to take an objective point of view, and generally that's not the fighter. You know, fighters are there to fight, and you know, they need to know a guideline, they need to know a plan, they need to be able to adapt. So the one thing is they've got to listen to one person who's going to tell them it's straight, you know, without slapping them on the back, you know, pumping them up when there's no reason to. You know, sometimes you've got to have the hard truth, and you've got to be able to take it on board. You've got to be able to take constructive criticism. And what you find with the good kids in this gym, the ones who've made it as champions, you know, winning or losing, they've always stayed in here, gone back to the drawing board if they've got beat, adjusted, and then come back stronger. But with the majority of kids, what you find is they come in here, they might be successful for so long, they get beat, and they go somewhere else for somebody else to tell them, you know, how good they are, without actually addressing the problem. Then they'll get beat again, then they'll move on somewhere else. So what I can say is all the kids we've ever had who've been successful are the ones who've walked in here at the beginning of the career and walked out at the end of the career, and that's it. You know, they've learned from the mistakes. You know, when people have told it them straight, whether it's Brendan, me, or my brother John, they've took it on board, and you know, they've turned out to be champions. He's got the right incentive to be a champion. He's moved away from home, you know, left his family behind in Cambridge, come all the way up here, you know, live on himself. He's been doing that since he was 18 years old. And realistically, if he commits to it, this is a sport where the top fighters are the ones who commit to it. You can dabble in this game and be all right over 4 and 6 rounds, but to be a long-term champion, you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to be, you know, with people who've taken champions to that level before. You know, we've had 40 odd years of experience in this gym. He's never out of the gym. What you tend to find when kids first come in the gym, it's, you know, they're keen, they're ambitious, they're in all the time, and the way you fight, you don't have much notice for fights. I could walk in the gym and say you're fighting in a week's time, and he's got to always be roughly 1 or 2 weeks away from being ready for a fight.
I'm currently training Jordan Gill through his sports science programme for the past 4 to 5 months, and it's going really well. The results are improving. First time Jordan walked in, they said, like, for a selling point for sports science, they're saying that we want him to get that world level training before he reaches his first title fight. So he has 2 one-to-one training programs a week, and then he does a home running program as well. He also has a lot of mobility training to do that's set for him every day, and some core work as well. But everything that he does within the boxing gym and within his running sessions are all monitored as well. All his programs are really structured towards a fight or within a process, all periodised. So
the champions who keep on the top are the ones who always keep in training or keep somewhere near the weight or some level of fitness. And hopefully Jordan's going to be, you know, that type of kid. He's going to, even when he's champion, he's going to come in and train properly and keep on top of it. You know, Jordan came, it wasn't really that we went looking for Jordan. Jordan more or less found his way here, which is another indicator of his ambition. You know, we don't have to chase him, we don't have to phone him up in the morning or find out where he's at the weekend. You know, I know where he is, he always keeps in touch. We know Morris's every move. Well, he's an A-level student, he's an A-grade student, as we're saying. He's clever. I mean, realistically, you know, I'm not sure when he finishes his career whether he'll be as clever, because he'll have been bashed around the head a few times, but to be honest, he's a good fighter. He's got very good defensive skills. You know, I think his brain will keep intact when he's finished his career. He knows that boxing's a process, just like learning is, education. You're learning, you've got to pay attention to what's being told to you, put it into practice. He's very eager to learn. You know, he's taking on new things. He can quickly work out what's right and what's wrong. And like I said, so far he's got a perfect record. He's unbeaten. He's only 21 years old. He's been professional 3 years. So, you know, hopefully that's going to carry on and he's going to finish his career as champion.
I don't think you have to be clever to be a good boxer, but I don't know if it helps or not, because sometimes I do feel like I see things coming quicker than maybe other people. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's a sometimes you can think too much about things, and a lot of the time you have to react on instinct, and that's another thing that I'm good at. In the back of my mind, I always wanted to box, always loved boxing. I used to go to school, I used to train before school, go to school, come back, do my homework, or sack my homework off and watch clips of boxing on YouTube all afternoon until it was time to go boxing. Go boxing, come back, go sleep, and that'd be me every day. So yeah, I've always wanted to be a boxer. I've always loved boxing. I've always looked at people at the top, and idolised them, and wanted to get there.
His commitment and his dedication's second to none, and the progress that Jordan's made has been phenomenal. You know, his pressing, his body weight, upper body pressing his body weight, his squatting 1.5 times his body weight, his deadlifting twice his body weight. These are things that we expect boxers to reach within a year. Jordan's reached that within the 4 or 5 months that I've been training him. And it's also really easy to coach. He takes on everything on board, and he applies it in the right way, and it's made easy as well with the world-class team that he's got around him. So he's recovering in the right way, he's getting fit enough in his boxing as well, and is coming on technically and tactically. In 2-3 years' time, when he steps up to that world level, they're not going to know what's him. With Jordan, even if he does get defeated, I know that he'll take that defeat on board and bounce back and go up to a new level. Boxing isn't an endurance sport, it's a sport of repeated high intensities. So we want Jordan to, one, be able to deal with them high intensities, to be able to repeat them and endure them. He's already reached the records of a world level fighter, world champion fighters, you know, and he did that with much more in the tank. The records, level 25, Jordan's on 23.5, so he's only 1.5 behind. I think he could make it next week. If not, he'll definitely make it within the next year.
It's important to invest early on in my career into the right diet, into the right training, having the right people around you, because that's what's going to make you hit the heights. And always thought to myself, if you're going to do something, you've got to do it properly. So these guys are proper, and you know, I like what they stand for. I wear the Nourish brand on my shorts when I fight.
We set up Nourish on 5th October 2013. The idea was to be ethical with where we locally source food from. So we have deliveries every single day, so it's fresh. There's no wastage. All those wastage go to a Cathedral Archer project, which is a homeless charity, so they'll feed the homeless. The power of food will overpower any training routine. You could train 100%, but if your diet's not right, you're not feeding the body with the right nutrients to repair, refuel, you're always going to be that one step behind someone who's actually following a correct diet. So what we tend to do is do a food tolerance test. So it'll come up with a blood sampling test of what food we need to stay away from, what food we need to increase, just so we know what works best with Jordan. If you're working with someone who's for a while, they'll know the body inside out. So as a nutritionist, you look at the person. If you work with him long enough, you know exactly what that person needs and how he responds. Whereas it's a new customer or a new client, athlete, it's getting to know that body before you know what food to put in. So recovery-wise for food, again, athletes, they'll train 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. If you're not refueling and repairing your muscle, you're always going to be fatiguing a lot earlier, and especially if you're going quite a distance in the rounds, you need that extra support via whatever it is, which is predominantly down to food. So again, you can box, you can fight, you can run as much as you like. So if he's not repairing his muscles, it's not his optimum performance. If you're eating well and you're training hard, you're going to hit your top end peak.
It varies day to day. I don't have the same things every day. What's going to help me become better is recovering, getting the right fuel to get bigger and stronger at the weight. Too many times you see boxers, you know, in a massive calorie deficit, killing themselves to make weight, and they can't perform in training, they can't perform in the fights. A lot of the time they use saunas and hot baths to get the water weight off, and they end up going into the ring dehydrated, they'll get knocked out, could potentially get brain damage. And you know, you got to look after yourself the best way possible. I've never been very sociable, like, because obviously you're restricted in them areas, but I'm lucky I've got a big group of friends that understand. I've never drunk in my life, never drunk alcohol, but I always go out and have a laugh with my mates. And because I've done it all my life, then it's not nothing different for them. They understand and accept me as, you know, the sober kid, the sensible one. Not always.
I was walking up the road and a fella come up to me and he said to me, "Hey, how's Jordan getting on? He's doing well, you know." I said, "Listen," I said, "you get a fella come through the door, an 11-year-old kid, he looks around and he's really sort of worried because he's never been in this sort of environment, and it's daunting. All of a sudden he's surrounded by people that don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs. So he's surrounded by good people already. He gets to 16, 17, does his, you know, GCSEs, goes on to A-levels, goes on to university, and then he gets a good job. Either he goes self-employed or he ends up working for a company. By the time he's 30, he's probably got a nice family and he's doing really well. So the route is different, but the destination is the same." And the fellow turned around and said to me, "Yeah, but Gilly's doing all right, isn't he?" So I felt like banging my head up against the wall. People don't, it's hard to educate people. I don't look at it as a father and son sort of relationship. It's more, you know, obviously it is a father and son relationship. You know, we get on really well. We're very, very close. But when he goes to work, that's it. You know, his destiny is in his own hands. He's got the best team around him. At the end of the day, it's down to him now. The key thing is not to get hit. You know, if you look at his face, he's a pretty good-looking kid. Again, he takes after his mother.
One thing that's always stood out to me when Brendan sat me down once, he said, "Listen to what I'm saying to you." I said, "Yeah, Bren." He said, "It takes 20 years to become an overnight star." And I sat there and thought, takes 20 years to become an overnight star? What do you mean it takes 20? And then it dawned on me, and I thought, that's a good saying, because, you know, you work so hard for years and years and years and years, practice to everything to perfection, get your technique right, develop your skills, get your strength and your experience, and know how to tie people up when you're in trouble. And it takes that such a long period of time to learn all that. And in one fight, overnight, like you said, you can become a star, and people think, "Oh, you've come from nowhere," but they don't see all the hard work that's built up to that point. People will never understand how much boxers have to sacrifice, especially at a top level. And like I say, you can't play at this sport. It's the only sport you can legally get killed. People get hurt, people get brain damage. So everything that I do, I make sure that I do it properly, which, you know, my parents have always taught me to do. You know, give it my all.
In this gym, there have been better boxers than Jordan, a lot better boxers, but the difference is with Jordan, he perseveres. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to lose. You're going to lose your mother, your father, your uncle, you know, your dog. I lost my keys this morning. You're going to lose everything, you know, but at the end of the day, it's people that come back from that loss. And I think, you know, he's got that gill grit.
Your winner, still undefeated as a professional boxer, the young talent of Jordan, the Thrill, Gill!
fight went well. I was scheduled for 6 rounds, but only went 2. So that's an early night for me. You don't get paid for overtime, so I'm happy with the result.
Oh, very proud as a parent would feel, but yeah, I think his pace was very good. I thought he moved very well. Picked his shots perfect. One of the best performance I've seen him since he's turned professional. 2016, you're going to see the best Jordan Gill so far, and we're just going to keep up stepping them levels. I'm always confident of winning, no matter who I get in with, how big they are, what their name is, what colour skin they are, what religion they are. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody's the same. They're just a body, and I'm there to take them out. At the end of the day, he hasn't got to worry. He can adapt when he gets in there, because life doesn't run smooth, and everything you do in life, look at that. Yeah, look. Yeah, everything he does, you know, in life, it's never run smooth. So if anybody thinks, oh, life is good, and you know, when the problem comes, what do? So you have to adapt, and that's what he does.
For the next 10 years, I'm going to dedicate my whole life